Completely over the cold yet, but I feel a lot much better today than I did yesterday. If you were in the post game last night, I deeply apologize. Your boy was struggling. Your boy was really, really struggling. I could barely, I don't know how I made it through last night, but better today. Ready to get this thing rolling. We got lots and lots that we need to discuss. We're going to recap. Well, we're just going to recap what's been happening over at LSU Baseball since the McNeese game. Ever since you left Jacksonville, you've lost to McNeese. You looked pedestrian at the plate against Northeastern twice, against Dartmouth twice. You lost to ULL, and you lost a series to Sacramento State. And it's just not what you needed to do. Quite frankly, you and I need to have a discussion. I feel like right now, even though Paul Skeens is on the bump, USA all the way tonight, even though I feel like we're constantly having the same conversation, and even though I've been getting called out for this team and saying that multiple things are true and you're not living up to your standard as of right now, you're not, and you must be better. Now, what I would say to start off this show, Steven Milm's not one of those reasons. He's not collectively one of those reasons. And listen, I like the guys over at the Go team. I saw the viral tweet today from them. I don't think Steven Milm's your problem. Not right now, I don't. You hit the ball very hard yesterday. Very hard. Right at people. And when you have the high amount of velocity that you've been hitting the ball with, at some point, some of those things are going to fall. Some of those hits that you're having are going to fall. But right now, you're struggling to put consecutive, really good at-bats in order. And we got to discuss that. But I got to say, Steven Milm's not the reason you're losing. Seth Dardar's not the reason you're losing. Collectively, as a whole, is why you're losing. Because, quite honestly, when I look at what you've done over the last, let's just say, week and a half, guys, you've left over 60 got runners on base. Can't happen. Simply cannot happen. You also collectively, since the McNeese game, you have gone 41 of 223. You're hitting 184 with 61 runners left on base. Can't happen. So I understand from some local people in the media, I've been taking personal shots, or personal shots have been directed towards me, but you're going to have to explain to me ever since McNeese going 41 of 223, hitting 184. And that when you have 5 losses before you get into SEC play, that I'm the one that's panicking, even though I still think that this is a really good team. We're going to talk about this at great length tonight because we don't have a choice, because you have a 30-game stretch, 30-game weekend stretch where all of this can be a moot point. And we look back at the beginning of the season and say, it meant nothing. It meant nothing. You had adversity. You're starting to overcome that adversity. It meant nothing. Or you go through this 30-game stretch and you're really battling and you're getting your asses whooped. Which one of the two is it going to be? Or is it a mixture of both? That will be the question. So we'll break down LSU baseball. We'll talk about LSU and football and continue on our path here tonight of breaking down position rooms and breaking down positions. Tonight we go to the edge room, which I think is ultra talented and is going to have, I was going to do the whole defensive line, decided against that. We're going to talk about edge specifically here tonight. We'll get to that. And if we have thoughts, questions, concerns, we'll get to that as well. Stand by. Sorry for the absence on audio. I feel much better, but still a little ill. Because I'm ill, like my name's Lil Wayne. So we have a lot that we need to discuss. And by the way, we're going to continue to keep our eyes on Paul Skeens tonight as the World Baseball Classic continues as well. And I'm hoping Paul Skeens absolutely shoves tonight as well. So we got a lot that we need to get into. We'll get into that tonight. couple of ways you can get involved in the show. Do us a favor, you can send in super chats. We can have conversations around that. You can become a member on the YouTube channel. I'd highly suggest that you become a member on the YouTube channel. I would highly think that we are going to have some content out tomorrow, Wednesday, on the members on the YouTube channel. So I would become a member there as well tonight. Yes, where is everybody watching from tonight? Bayou Bingle 90 says the 318-31 great. Let's do this. Good to have you in here with us tonight. M18 says missed last night's show. Not sure if you discussed this, but when we need to put together good at bats, we look so tight and swing ourselves out of our shoes. Anything out of the infield works. Yeah, I mean, last night, to be completely blunt with you, I was not in a good mood, nor did I feel worth a damn. So probably not the best day to miss. With that being said, yes, it's definitely something that we discussed. Keith is in the 985. Good to have you in here with us. I am Ingram Yelder, says that 225. Good to have you in here with us as well. Chris is in the 901. Chris checks on me today. By the way, Chris Lomax is the only person who checked on me, even though I looked like death last night. He's the only person that checked on me today. Wayno, 504 to Parrish. He says they have issues hitting off-speed pitches. I don't get it. Well, they know that, and everybody knows that, and the scouting report is out on you. So now you have to adjust. And then you're letting fastballs right down the heart of the plate go by. That's not a recipe for success. Dakota says Jay will get the boys right. I completely agree with you there. Seth says we are struggling with hitting bad and early pitching. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Epps is in the 601 Clinton, Mississippi. Stand up. Good to have you in here with us. And John Bro is in the 713 Houston, Texas. Stand up. Good to have you in here with us as well. And Derek Street is in the 318 Columbia, Mississippi. Stand up and stand proud. So good to have all of you in here with us tonight. So bear with me. Feel a lot better. Probably sound a little bit better. But still fighting through a little bit of a cold here. Look, before we do get rolling, I need to bring this up. So I saw the thing today about Steven Milm. So I've been on with the Go Team. It's a podcast that covers LSU. Like the guys, think they do a good job. People have takes, man. And sometimes you're going to hit on some, sometimes that you're not. I do not agree with them on the Steven Milm thing. Great guys, though. I think what we do in media is, I feel like I was the first person to do the podcasting thing or be independent, which then made others want to do it. And I'm not saying that's what the Go Team is doing at all. But believe you me, I've had my fair share of really bad takes. Really bad. I've had a lot of fair share of really good takes. With that part being said, sometimes we allow bad play to overreact to something that's happening. Steven Milm yesterday hit 3 balls very hard. One to the wall, one right back up the middle that hit off someone's foot, and then hit one in the left center field off the bat at 105. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. Friday night, he hit a bomb. He had another really good big-time base hit that opened the game up even more. He's hitting the ball very hard. And when you're hitting the ball very hard, at some point that's going to fall. So in case you missed it, there was a thing that was out there that said that he was overrated. I don't remotely come close to agreeing with that. However, I do think that there's something to be said, not on Steven Milm, that quite honestly, you're not living up to the standard of performance. Jay Johnson agrees with that. People on the team agree with that. And I think that LSU fan base, other than some in our media corps who are taking personal shots at people, myself mainly the one that they're taking personal shots at, which me losing weight should have absolutely nothing to do with LSU baseball. With that part being said, I think that tensions are high because we expect them to be a good team and that we know that they are a talented team. And when you are a talented team and you struggle, sometimes it's head scratching. Losing 2 out of 3 to Sacramento State is head scratching. Losing to Northeastern is head scratching. Losing to ULL and McNeese is head scratching. And it all revolves around one thing, really, is that you have just not been performing at the plate that you need to. That is the bottom line, especially how great you've shown that you can be. And I think that is the thing that bothers everybody the most. Steven Milm's not overhyped. Do I think that as a collective whole, everybody's got to get better? Yes. Do I think Steven Milm will wind up hitting 300 at the end of the season? Yes. Do I think that he will come close to hitting double-digit bombs again? Yes. When will you put it all together will be the ultimate question. I was going to come on and start on the show about the governance thing, the President's Roundtable. Guys, I do think that that was going to be the start of my show tonight. Here's the truth. I don't care what political party. I've said this so many times. I don't care what political party you find yourself with. I could care less. If you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, you worship the spaghetti monster, I really don't care. What I do care about is I do think college athletics is in a very pivotal spot. And what happens within the next 6 months could change the landscape forever. And I'm nervous. We're trying to get politicians involved in something that they literally have said things that they just don't understand about. And it worries me. Hopefully we get some governance in place, because all of those in the media, I was listening to somebody nationally today talk about this. Guys, we need governance in college athletics. I see way too many media members who are going after the NCAA for whatever reason. And we talk about the roundtable. We talk about, oh, Nick Saban's a hypocrite. We talk about all of these different things. Like I heard today a clip from somebody saying Nick Saban's a hypocrite for telling Lane Kiffin to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU during the playoff. He never once told Lane to leave during the playoff. What he said is that he hoped Ole Miss allows him to coach through the end of the season and let him go to LSU, which they did not allow to do. We come up with lies and we misremember things. But the media that covers college athletics needs to understand something. Whether it's the roundtable that happened last week, whether it's the Broadcasting Act of 1961, regardless of any of these specific things that we're going through in college athletics, there's one thing that no one seems to really understand and continuously is being hypocritical on. We need governance. Kids should not be allowed to transfer 6 times. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. There's got to be some guardrails in there. I don't agree with collectives. I don't. It is a pay-for-play scheme. It legitimately is. I don't agree with collectives. Telling Urban Meyer that he didn't go through the times when he was coaching about collectives, so therefore he doesn't understand it. You haven't coached during collectives. So what is Urban Meyer not coaching during the collectives, or while collectives were a thing? It doesn't benefit him to be able to have a point or to be able to have knowledge on the situation. Because I promise you, Urban Meyer is having more conversations with college head coaches than you are in the media. I promise you that's happening. Guys, I promise you this. You can hate the NCAA all you want. I don't like them either. But at some point, you got to have law and order. You got to have law and order. You can't continue to have the wild, wild west, and then when somebody wants to do something, come out and bitch about it. What are we doing? We got to put guardrails in place. I say it every week, man. College athletics is in more of a pivotal spot than it's ever been, ever in its history. I don't think President Trump's executive order is going to go through. I think it's going to get sued. He said as much that it was going to get sued, and hopefully this goes into federal court so that we get antitrust, because we need it. We have to have governance in all of this. And everybody that sues and wins, well, guys, they're just going to continue to do it, and the players have all of the power. Players and coaches, for what it's worth, Players and coaches cannot have all the power. Right now they do. Guys, Ole Miss literally walked into Clemson, South Carolina, and took a player and laughed at it. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. Shouldn't be allowed to happen. But we just kind of brush that off. We brush it off and don't say anything about it. So, pivotal spot, man. Pivotal spot. All right. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll break down the LSU baseball team. We'll talk about over the last 2 weeks what's happened here, what I think's got to happen to get these things fixed, why I still have confidence in this team, why I still think that you should have confidence in this team, and why I think that they'll be able to correct this. I hope very, very, very shortly. All right. Let me get to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do all that. Every AYS Sports show, by the way, is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Sam Levitt plus 1,300. To do that, do you think Paul Skeens is going to dominate tonight versus Mexico? You can place that bet on there as well. I already placed my bet on FanDuel for the USA to beat Mexico here tonight, but you can place those bets with our good friends over at FanDuel. During the break, do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Quick break. We come back. We talk LSU baseball next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
Cal Riley just struck out with the bases loaded. God bless it. So at the end of one, Mexico 0, the United States 0. They leave the bases loaded. We are watching it right here live in the studio here tonight as well. A couple of ways to get involved in the show. You can send in super chats, become members on the YouTube channel. We do greatly appreciate when y'all do that. All right. Let's get into it here. So, guys, over the last 2 weeks, LSU baseball has just not been performing to the standard or level that we want them to play at. You're dead last in the SEC in fielding percentage. You have a .966 fielding percentage. You're 16th out of 16 teams in the SEC in fielding percentage. You have been god-awful, really, these last 2 weeks when it comes to everything that you're doing on the field. Over the last 2 weeks, you have been what I would describe as one of the worst teams in the SEC when it comes to what you're doing at the plate. Now, tonight, I am going to tell you some of the things that you've done over the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to tell you that I took a game out. I took this past Friday's game out of these statistics for specific reasons, and I'm going to tell you why I took, when we talk about what's been happening over the last 2 weeks, why I took it out. Number one, I think that this team has the ability and can continue to have the ability to do some of the things that we saw them do this past Friday night versus Sacramento State. If they continue to have some of the really good at-bats that we saw this past Friday, the sky really is the limit for this team. It is. You have a lot of power. You have guys with a lot of experience. And we know that you have it in you to be one of the better teams in the SEC. I think that you still, even to date, are one of those teams that has the ability to make a run here. Now, the argument that I saw last night from a lot of you was, well, Blake, you were giving excuses. You were talking about exit velo. You hit the ball very hard. Of the top three guys in the lineup, 5 outs that they had yesterday versus Sacramento State was on a line. And I feel like some of those will start to fall later in the season. When you still are hitting the ball hard, if you've ever played baseball a day in your life, you know when you're hitting the baseball hard constantly, at some point those things are going to fall. But since the McNeese State game, going to the Northeastern 2-game series, the Dartmouth 2-game series, whether it's ULL or the 3-game series that you just had against Sacramento State, you're not even hitting above 200. Guys, you are 41 of 223. You're hitting 184 with 61 runners left on base. That's just not getting it done. It's not going to get it done. There is a level and standard that LSU baseball is held to. You know, nationally, it's looked at as if the SEC is down, mainly due to the fact that I feel like that LSU has not been performing to the level that they need to. So everybody talks about the SEC is down. Really and truthfully, it's LSU that has been down over the last 2 weeks. What are your problems? It's easy to come out and state that your problems are, well, Blake, we just can't hit. You're damn right you can't hit right now. You have instances and you show flashes like you did this past Friday. You have instances where you see them in Jacksonville versus P4 opponents and you're completely dominant. You have seen this team do some very dominating things. But right now, for whatever reason, which feels to be very much more mental than it is physical to me, you are not living up to that standard by any stretch of the imagination. Now, Saturday and Sunday's game, as we recap this weekend, guys, on Saturday, you went 3 of 32 with 7 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 8 runners left on base. You're going to have to start getting these guys in, even if you got to start playing small ball to do it. If you get a runner on, you got to get a run. If you get a runner on, you got to get them over and get them in. I think Jay is going to have to start being very unique, that God forbid he gets runners on first and third. He's got to start playing small ball. There's nobody in this lineup that you cannot ask to bunt, even the big fella in Zach York. You're going to have to start doing some things different because you got to start generating runs. That is the bottom line. But this weekend, guys, in the last 2 games, you went 9 of 66. 9 of 66. You hit 136 in games 2 and games 3. If this was a series thing, I'd be like, all right, it's the only 2 games that had happened. This is baseball. You're taking a round ball, round bat, and trying to square something, a round ball up. It is a very difficult feat. But now that you've had a 2-week sample size of getting beat by McNeese, you have a 2-week sample size of really not performing to your standard of excellence versus Dartmouth and Northeastern. When you look at you going up again in a midweek versus ULL on the road, when you look at losing 2 of the last 3 games versus Sacramento State, you look at this and say, what's the problem? Because there is one. Jay Johnson's not an idiot. He's not. And when we look at Jay and everything that he said over the last 2 weeks, what are some of the things that he's mentioned? Well, number one, he said, quite frankly, we look better when we're not swinging the bat versus some of the things that we're doing when we're actually swinging the bat. Now, if that's not a call out to your team that not only are you not swinging at quality strikes, that you're swinging over the top of all-speed stuff, that the book is out on you, that if you can land your all-speed stuff, this team is not going to be able to hit it. It's basically what he's talking about. The bottom line is that you completely underperformed at the plate. You cannot allow 18 runners to be left on. By the way, Paul Skeens just struck out 2 and had a fly ball in the center field. So Paul Skeens goes 1, 2, 3 in the second inning because, I mean, quite frankly, he is Captain America. So Paul Skeens, what a stud. What a freaking stud. Sorry for the sidebar there. We're still watching I am completely all bought into the World Baseball Classic. I hope all of you are as well. But when you take out game 1 Friday versus Sacramento State, and I tell you over the last 2 weeks in all of the games that you've played that you've gone 41 of 223, you're hitting 184, you just lost a series to a team that came in here in Sacramento State, didn't hit above 200, and you lost, yeah, there's a problem. So I say this every night. Do I think you're going to get it corrected? I do. I 100% believe that you're going to get it corrected. However, me saying those things, by the way, apparently make some media members very mad. And then what's crazy to me is that you come out here after losing to Sacramento State and you have the same takes. That is the wildest thing to me. With all of that being said, Jay's got a lot of work on his hands. You have a long way to go. You're swinging over the top of everything that's off speed. If you are swinging way too early versus teams that are throwing low 90s and have changeups that are 82, 83 miles an hour, step up in the box. Do something different. If you're too early on it, step up in the box, son. Move up to the plate. As it's Rookie of the Year and Henry Roland-Gardner's facing off against the Dodgers. Do something different. Like I think of Zach York's at bat the other day when he hit the ball the opposite way. Do something different. Let the ball get deep. See the ball deep. Try to drive the ball the other way. You got to change something up. Because when I look at this team for what it's worth, you have not tried to change outside of the Friday night, and even in the Friday night, you didn't really change your approach at the plate. Like, I think Derek Curiel has gone off over the last week because he has. But he's trying to yank and pull everything instead of being composed and doing what he is that he needs to do. Jake Brown's really the overall best because he's just being Jake Brown and going off. But everybody else is pressing. The moment has been, quite honestly, and you're not even in conference play, the moment right now seems way too big for you. And guys, look who you're going up against. I don't know what else to say other than you can't continue to have the same approach at the plate that you've been having. Hitting 184 as a team over the last 2 weeks, taking this past Friday's game out of that equation. Blake, you can't do that. I can do whatever I want. That's not good enough. You've lost 4 out of your last 5 games. I think it's crazy that on Friday this show gets called out for whatever reason. And then the things that we talked about and the struggles that you're having not only show and rear their head, they are exposed even more. Guys, you can't have 3 hits in a game versus Sacramento State on a Saturday with a guy lollipopping a changeup up there 82 miles an hour. Can't happen. Can't happen. Now, do I think that you will actually hit a little bit better in SEC play, as ironic as that sounds? Yeah, I do. But you haven't adjusted, and you're pressing way too much. You know, this team to me looks like a boxer that's been hit and got cut. You know, this team reminds me of Ivan Drago, that when Rocky finally threw a punch and connected and he got cut and his eyes got really big and he's like, oh my God, what just happened here? That completely reminds me, and that's how I envision this LSU team is right now. Everybody's got wide eyes. Instead of just saying, man, I'm going to do up there and know what I'm talented and capable of doing. The simple nature of all of this is that LSU is going to have to find a way to find a new approach. Jay's going to have to do some things that when you get a guy on, you might have to just bunt him over regardless of where you are in the lineup. Trying to yank everything and pull everything is not working for you. Trying to go yard is not working for you. Let the ball get deep. Try to take the ball the other way and wait on it. Be more patient at the plate instead of pressing. Quite honestly, the book is out on you. The book is out. If you can land your off-speed stuff, this team is going to have issues. They have not been able to overcome it. You're 16th in the SEC in ERA. You're 16th in the country in fielding position. But right now, the biggest worry might be of what have you done over the last 2 weeks at the plate. Now, I think Jay is arguably one of the best offensive minds in the game today. I do. So as bad as they've been over the last 2 weeks, I fully expect them to be able to find a way to remedy it. I hope that they do. I think they have enough talent to be able to do it. But there are still other problems on this team that are showing themselves. The ERA, I think that you're going to be fine on the mound. I think you're one of the better teams on the mound. I think last night's performance, as an example, with William Schmidt is just unfortunate. Schmidt did not get some of the luck in some of the plays that, quite honestly, if William Schmidt would have had some of the defensive performances that Sacramento State had, he wouldn't have given up a run and maybe would have seen another inning. But right now, you are the nervous high school boyfriend who thinks his girlfriend's talking to all these other dudes. You are more nervous than a long-tailed cat sitting next to a rocking chair. Your eyes are too wide. I don't know how to be able to reach. I'm not a coach. I don't know how to reach a team that's having this level of struggles. I don't. I think that a two-time winning national championship head coach, Jay Johnson, does, and he said as much as in his postgame yesterday. Now, he stated that, look, I've been in situations with teams like this too, that we've had really talented teams. We've come out and really struggled, and we found ways to win. And a team that I had very similar to this, who struggled very much early in the season, we made it to Omaha after we started figuring things out. That very well could be what we find this LSU team and what they do. We don't know. But right now, the plate is, what you're doing at the plate is an issue. Right now, your fielding percentage is, and what you're doing in the field is god-awful. When a ball is hitting the field in the infield, guys, outside of it being hit to Steven Milm, I get nervous. When a ball is hitting the left field, I get nervous. Quite honestly, as much as I like Zach York, when a ball's hit to him and there are runners on, I start getting nervous. Because everything that you're doing has been, you're trying to prevent something that you just got to take in stride. I think Kate Beatty has been struggling the last 2 weeks. And that's not even my take as much as it is your own head coach's take. I feel like I keep coming out here every single day, every single night the last 2 weeks and repeating the same things, but it's the same exact things that are plaguing you. So, what are the solutions here? What solutions can you find yourself to find a way to overcome? Number one, you got to completely adjust what you're doing at the plate. You must, because what you're doing right now collectively as a team is not working. Number two, you got to find guys that can just play. And if they're struggling at the plate, then so be it. But you can't allow teams to just get free bases and free runs because, quite honestly, when the ball's hit to you, you have no idea what you're doing. You got to be more solid behind the plate. There have been too many times where pass balls and Kate Beatty has allowed things to get past him that he has no business allowing those things to get past him. It also reminds me of everybody talking about Luis Hernandez last year, and now you see how good you really had it. Cade has got to step up. Mason Braun, I've said this multiple times even before he got a start in left field the other night. He cannot start in left field. So you're going to have to figure something out there. Hopefully, Chris Stanfield's able to find his way back. And I do think Chris Stanfield is a massive key to him coming back and you having success. I really do. Because Chris Stanfield is going to give you every single little bit of effort that he has to be able to help some of the vibe that is this team. Right now, you look as if that there are moments and times that you have no energy. And Jay already knows right now that collectively, I just saw the play, the throw get thrown at home, so USA doesn't score. That stinks. Jay continues to come out and say in post games that we're unable to bring together and put together multiple at-bats at once. Well, then you might have to play a little bit of small ball. You might have to, if you get a runner on, leadoff runner walks, you might have to bunt him over. And if you can't execute that, well, then you at least you know that you've exhausted all options. But you cannot continue to allow 61 runners left on base and think that that's not going to be a problem for you. I have a massive worry for you in the field if something's not hit to Jake Brown, Derek Curiel, or Steven Milm. I worry. If Cade Arrambide is put in a situation where he's got to make a play, I worry. So really 3 of the 9 guys that are in the field at any given moment, I worry about, or I don't worry about. And everybody else, quite honestly, I do. How are you going to overcome? You can say in a post game every single time that, well, we got to put more bats together collectively. Well, you haven't done it the last 2 weeks. So if you got runners on, you got to find a way to move them over and get them in. I'm not saying to be a small ball team, because you're not built to be a small ball team. But you got a lot of players that are out of position. A lot of players. It's why we're seeing Jack Rucker start at second, which he should have started at second yesterday. It's why you're trying to figure out everything you can in left field. You got to try. I don't know the status of Chris Stanfield. We need him back more than anything. But, guys, this has been the worst 2 weeks in Jay Johnson's LSU career, in my opinion. You've had some bad ones. You've had some really wild stretches. That's baseball. But it's never looked like this. Not against these level of opponents. Let's just be completely blunt on the matter. So whether it's playing more small ball, doing something different at the plate, I mean, your approach has got to change because your approach hasn't changed and you're getting beat. So as a team collectively, you've got to change your approach. Pressing, when you do something drastic, you worry about this team saying, "Oh, well, man, I mean, see, we're not doing the right things. So Jay's got to change everything up." Well, he's got to, and you got to look from within. Where is the leadership? Where is the energy? None of these teams that have beat you, none of them, by the way, none of the teams, damn, Bobby Witt almost had one. None of the teams that have beat you are more talented than you. None of them. Sacramento State's is not more talented than you. McNeese is not more talented than you. ULL is not more talented than you. They're not. They're just not. But they look like it because, quite simply, you're not executing. The bottom line remains is that the level of energy and execution that you have on this LSU baseball team is not up to par. And you better figure it out because you're about to go through a 30-game SEC stretch where, quite honestly, everything's now going to be determined. You're a quarter of the way through the season or a third of the way through the season. and you have not looked great in doing it. There have been flashes where you've looked elite. There have also been flashes where you look like the worst team in the SEC. In the field, you literally are, from a statistical analysis standpoint, you are the worst team in the SEC. From an ERA standpoint, you are the worst in the SEC. You're 14th in the SEC in batting average. And the production and wins and losses are showing as much. But that's not the level of talent or coaching that you have. This team's got a lot of work ahead of it. So whether people want to call me out about it, people want to say I'm an idiot when I say, hey, man, you can't hit 196 over the last week and think that that's not maybe a problem, then you come out on Friday and you dominate, but then you hit 184. Or, excuse me, no, you didn't. You hit 136 on Saturday and Sunday. That's not a slump. That is that you mentally, you're having massive problems. The real question is how are you going to overcome them? It's the same conversation. Now, you do this another week, you do it another 2 weeks, we're having much different conversations. I'm just not going to buy out on this team yet. I have not sold my stock on this team yet. I still feel that you're way too talented to do some of the things that you're doing, but now you don't have a lot of margin for error. You don't. Because now you got to show what you're all made of, and we're going to find out if you are made of what we think that you are. All right. When we come back, we'll talk about the edge position for LSU football. Take your thoughts, questions, and concerns. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. When your business, your farm, or your equipment needs fuel, you need someone that you can trust. At Crump Fuel, they deliver quality gasoline, diesel, and lubricants with honest service and local pride across South Louisiana and South Mississippi. From construction sites, marinas, convenience stores, and trucking companies, all the way down to generators and everyday operations, Crump Fuel keeps you rolling. Crump Fuel is family-owned and family-operated. With high quality and dependable delivery, they're always going to bring that competitive pricing. Call Crump Fuel today at 985-229-4976 or visit them over at crumpfuel.com. That's 985-229-4976 or visit them at crumpfuel.com today. Crump Fuel, where they're fueling the Gulf South in the right way. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotions. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top.
Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
We're back.
I don't want to jinx Paul Skeens right now. I don't want to do it. God, man, he's so special. Regardless of anything that happens, man, he's so freaking special. He's so freaking special. He always has been. He always will be. Paul Skeens. Captain America, baby. As he goes 9 up, 9 down. Oh, no. Come on, Bryce Harper. See, I just jinxed him right there. I just jinxed Paul Skeens right there. Shouldn't have jinxed him. That's my fault. My bad, Paul. My bad. But Bryce Harper's got to make that play. That's a routine play. He's got to make that. Kind of looking like a LSU Tigers with some of these defensive woes. That's all I know. We continue on our path of talking about LSU position groups going into spring, football position groups. So we've gone through quarterbacks, we've gone through receivers, we've gone through the running backs, we've gone through the offensive line. We skipped tight end because Trey Green we've talked about religiously, and kind of want to see some of the unique nature stuff of what Lane and company want to do with that room. We'll wait and see during the spring. But Trey Green clearly is going to be your guy, and let's see if they put him out in the slot. They put him out wide, how they're going to utilize him. Who's going to be that second guy? Is it going to be J.D. LaFleur? Do you use Grace? How do you utilize him will be the question. So tight end, it was the only real position that we have passed on as of right now. But tonight, you and I, what a throw by Aaron Judge. What a throw by Aaron Judge. Did y'all just see that? The captain. Aaron Judge, baby. We got to tweet that out. Aaron Judge. What a throw by the captain. All rise. The Judge is here. What a freaking throw by Aaron Judge. What a tag by Bregman. Sorry. What a tag. It's kind of more of a live reaction. So sorry. But what a great play by Bregman. What a great tag by Bregman. What a great throw by Aaron Judge. So I did see that. I did see it. So we got a lot that we need to still discuss with this LSU football team. I love the video that came out today of Nick Savage walking the team out. Speaking of Trey Green, him leading the team out, I thought was really cool and a really awesome deal. But not tonight, we are going to shift our focus from the offensive side of the football and talk about the defense. Guys, this edge room is one that I think I'm keeping my eyes on very closely. You went out and got Principal Umam-Yellen, who was with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and had one masterful season for the Ole Miss Rebels this past year. This past year, Umam-Yellen had 44 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 9 sacks, along with an interception. Who is going to be that guy on the other side of him that's able to help him and teams not be able to focus in on him to be able to get to the quarterback? Because last year, I thought that your edge room was fine. I didn't think that they played horrible. I didn't think that they played great. They were really good in run defense. Jack Pyburn was really good in run defense, but you couldn't get after the quarterback when you only sent 4. And that was a massive problem for you for a lot of different reasons. And we saw what a good edge room can do. Well, Miami, Indiana, Ohio State. Like, we saw what a lot of Texas, for that matter, we saw what a lot of those edge rooms throughout the country, and them providing the level of play of getting after the quarterback, just how much it affects it. we all feel and know that we believe that going into the season, if Prince Will Omamielon just has the same season that he had, he's going to be electric. Can he be better than what he had will be the question. But who is going to be that guy on the other side of him will be the talk through spring when it comes to edge. But I think that there's an untold secret about this room that we have not really fully discussed. I fully expect Sterling Lucas to work with the edge group. I fully expect Kevin Peoples to move inside in the interior. When you have multiple players like Lamar Brown saying as much, when you have a lot of people talking, some of these new older guys talking about Kevin Peoples, I'm just putting two and two together. So how does Sterling Lucas, if ultimately it's him, and I wouldn't be saying that if I wasn't trying to send you a sign, how does Sterling Lucas, who's had so much success at South Carolina at developing edge rooms, how does he do in year one at LSU? Because you would assume that he definitely has the guy in Prince Will Omamielon. And then when we saw Sterling Lucas at South Carolina, whether it be last year where Edwards had 8.5, 9 sacks, I believe it was, and then Dylan Stewart was not the most sack productive guy on South Carolina's team. It was Edwards a year ago. Then the year before that, Kyle Kennard led the SEC in sacks with, I think, 14 sacks, which is ridiculous, but led the SEC in sacks, and Dylan Stewart burst onto the scene. Is he able to translate some of that development that we've seen at South Carolina? Is he able to do that at LSU? So you bring in a new edge guy in Sterling Lucas, who already in the SEC has had high levels of success. You look at some of the guys like Prince Will Omamielon and say, well, if you just have the same level of production, this edge room might be very special and has the ability to be special. But the main focus on this room is not Prince Will Omamielon. The focus on this room comes with Jordan Ross, who last year for Tennessee had 23 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and a sack and a half. Everybody knows that the former 5-star coming out of Tennessee has all of the athletic ability in the world. And when you set him up with what Prince Will Omamielon is, a strong side defensive end, can Jordan Ross be that guy that on the other side is able to provide the speed and the twitchiness and the athletic ability that when he came out, everybody knew that he had the ability to be special being a former 5-star. We're going to see if Jordan Ross finally can take that step. Because if he can take that step, then the edge room and the level of pressure that Blake Baker already wants to provide gets that much better. The last season, quite frankly, you just didn't have a guy that can get after the quarterback unless you were going to send Perk. Quite honestly, it just was what it was. So you had to send more guys, and then you got beaten coverage because of it. Now, with the ability that you could have at sending 4, if you're able to hit on Ross and Prince Will Omamielon, the skies can be the limit for you because I think you're really good at backer. I think you're one of the more talented teams in the secondary. You are going to have a lot of things that you're able to work with if you're able to do it, and the edge room lives up to it. You have a guy that's one of the best in the SEC, a top 5 guy going into the portal, and a former 5-star. Can they put it all together? Or is it going to be someone like Jaylen Brown, who Sterling Lucas went after and he got hurt this past year, that he's like, hey, man, I can work with this kid. I think he's going to be special. And then he comes and bursts onto the scene at LSU, and he is. But the bottom line is, when you talk about the edge room, I feel like we all know what we're going to get from Prince Will. Even though Ole Miss fans say that he didn't have a productive year. 9 sacks in the SEC or in any conference is a productive year. So then they clearly have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. None. You have guys like Jaylen Brown and Jordan Ross and another one in Gabe Rutherford, who I haven't talked about yet, that are going to have to find ways to be that other guy. Because could you say to yourself, if one of those guys were to emerge, if Jaylen Brown, Jordan Ross, or Gabe Rutherford are able to emerge, can you imagine and anticipate with Sterling Lucas coming over from South Carolina, who in his time at South Carolina, all they've done at the edge room is just have high levels of production. Can you imagine how good you can be defensively? I have the two most experienced linebackers in the country. I have a secondary that's got DJ Pickett in it, who was the number one corner coming out and really played well last year. PJ Woolen's development and stock is completely rose. You have Deshaun Spears, who we saw take a step in year 2. Can he take another step like that in year 3? You have Ty Benefield that probably is going to play that star and is a really, really good player. Can DeMarcus Cooley take a step, or does Fahim Delane? Is he able to overcome DeMarcus Cooley and really push him to the limit? Again, what are you going to be able to do there? I look at this room as one that I think, quite honestly, has the largest upside. I really do think that they have the largest upside of anybody in this defensive room. They have the talent to be that special. The bottom line question will be, well, are they able to be productive enough? Are they going to be able to develop enough? Is Sterling Lucas going to be able to get that unit that we think that can be that talented to the level that we think that they can be? Guys, all of the talent's there. It's putting it all together that will be the question. Aaron Judge just hit a bomb. The captain. He threw a guy out at home plate and just hit a 2-run bomb. Special, man. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Outside of Paul Skeens, Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball. A lot of people say Cal Raleigh or somebody else. It's Aaron Judge. Consistently speaking, it's Aaron Judge. He just went Oppo Taco and hit a bomb. Special, man. God, he's so special. Judge is so special, man. And as a Yankees fan, I always will believe that. All right. We're out of here. Let's go watch the World Baseball Classic together. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.